Ever wondered how Cincinnati Public Schools decides how much money each school gets? Let's take a look at how they figure it out with a system called student-based budgeting. Every fall, the process starts with a report that counts how many students are in each school. This report also notes special characteristics like if a student has a disability, is learning English, or is gifted. This data is crucial. This information helps the schools predict how many students they'll have next year by looking at the past 3 years' trends. Once these predictions are made, they're shared with each school. This allows schools to make changes based on any special information they know about their students. Next, these student numbers help figure out how many teachers and staff each school needs. This includes classroom teachers, paraprofessionals, counselors, social workers, security staff, clerical support, and assistant principals. Schools also get to decide how many physical education, art, and music teachers they need, but they must have a mix of all three. The budget for staff is based on average salaries, plus extra costs called fringe benefits. These amounts are updated each year to reflect salary increases, cost of living adjustments, and other changes. The fringe benefits, things like retirement, insurance, and workers' comp, are set at 35% of salaries and wages. Next, CPS calculates the non-personnel budget. This is done by multiplying a per-pupil amount by the number of projected students. Each school's instructional leadership team then decides how to spend this money on things like supplies and field trips. Finally, each school's budget includes extra money for specific costs like copy and printing, clerical overtime, substitute teachers, and stipends for teachers in charge when there's no assistant principal. Let's look at an example of a neighborhood elementary school. According to its projected enrollment for the upcoming school year, the school will be receiving 589 students, with an additional 14 in need of a self-contained classroom environment. This enrollment number directly correlates to the number of staff required. Looking at this example, we see this school is in need of $6,390,074 worth of required staff. Next, let's look at the non-personnel line items. This includes things like printing, and for this school, that would be $47,034. This, in addition to subs and clerical overtime, adds up to a total general fund budget of $6,532,173.61, which is about $10,832.79 per student. Once the general fund budget is determined, we can start building budgets using state and federal grants for additional supplemental costs, which we'll dive deeper into at a later time. High school budgets are more complex because we must ensure funding aligns with the credits each student needs to graduate. High schools also receive similar non-personnel allocations based on their projected number of students. The master schedule is built from the subject credits each student needs, so the school knows how many English, algebra, science, and social studies teachers are needed. There are extra allocations for career tech programs and elective courses. You now have a good understanding of how Cincinnati Public Schools and school leaders determine their budgets. While there are additional funds and complexities like Title I allocations, student activity funds, and other grants, you now have the essential knowledge to see how your local schools are funded. Understanding this process helps us appreciate the careful planning and resources that go into providing quality education for every student.